two materials. Now, let me discuss a few important things about the brazing. Please look into this figure. Brazing is a process or method of joining two similar or dissimilar materials by using the filler metal in between them by using the additional flux here. There also it is quite similar, but here and there the difference is that the temperature will be more than 450 degrees centigrade. The temperature will be more than 450 degrees centigrade and lesser than the melting temperature of the base metal in case of brazing. Brazing is a method of or a process of joining the two similar or dissimilar materials together by using additional filler material. Okay, by using the additional filler material. And here we will be using the flux also. The flux will be mainly used to increase the flowability of the filler material. The filler material in this case will be copper alloys, steel, the silver alloys, like that, based on the application for which it is meant for. Different alloys and the base metals will be used as filler materials. Mostly here the flux used will be borax. Borax will be the flux which will be used for the boring purpose, for the brazing purpose. And this is called a brazing torch. This is called a brazing torch. And if you want, you can just I'll be showing you. Please look here how the brazing will be done. You can see that the brazing, a brazing torch will be there. The torch will be from the torch. The flame is flowing and it will be heating up. You can able to see this. You can able to see the figure. You know, please give me the answer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The base metal will be heated along with that. This is the rod, small stick-like structure is there. That will be a filler material. Maybe it is a copper or copper alloy, silver or silver alloy, or bronze something like whatever it is meant for the application, it will be. But the temperature of this process will be more than 450 degrees centigrade, and it will be lesser than the melting temperature of the two base metals. Here one cylindrical object and another the base plate is there. I have shown here in this figure. Those are the two materials. Those I want to join them together by using the brazing. The brazing rod will be taken and the two the surfaces will be cleaned before we apply the flux, because some rust will be there and some dirty will be there or oil will be there. That will be removed off clearly so that it will become a clean surface. On this clean surface, a borax powder will be applied. And once you heat the metal, what happens? A small gap is there. In that gap also easily this filler material will flow inside by the capillary action. And another one, the left side figure also I have shown. You can see that the two base materials, this is other one, this is one. These two are heated up, and by using this filler material and by using the oxyacetylene flame, this is also oxyacetylene flame. By using the oxyacetylene flame, both the surfaces will be heated up above the 450 degrees centigrade and lesser than the melting temperature of these two metals. Otherwise, the metals themselves will be.
Students are waiting outside, sir.
Please don't talk in between. I'm recording. Please don't talk. Okay. Those will be heat. In between this gap, due to the capillary action, the filler material will flow. Since the borax or a filler material is present in this. Okay. This is what I wanted to discuss. You can see this. The principles of brazing. Here in this brazing, the two similar or dissimilar materials will be joined together by applying a temperature above 450 degrees centigrade below the melting temperature of the base metal, as just now I told. The filler material will be called as a spilter. The filler material which we are going to use will be called as a spilter. And it is a ferrous or non-ferrous material. As I told you just now, the filler material used will be copper or copper alloy, silver or silver alloy, aluminum or aluminum alloys, and depend on the application. For example, I am going to join together the mild steel rods. That time I am going to use the copper and copper alloys, like that. As in case of this soldering, the two surfaces, those have to be brazed together. They have to be cleaned to remove the dirty, and some oil or rust is formed, or oxidation. Oxidation is due to, it leads to the rust formation. Okay, and all these will be removed and flux will be applied onto this. The borax, boric acid, and fluorides and chlorides are some commonly used flux material. But so far I have come across the borax and boric acid. Okay, all these may be used somewhere else. The base metals are heated by using the oxyacetylene welding torch. Oxygen will be there in one cylinder, acetylene will be there in one cylinder, and there will be a gun. Through this, the oxygen and acetylene will be made to flow through a equal proportion. Equal proportion will be taken, and the flame formation will be different for the different proportion of oxygen and acetylene. That we can see them later. Oxyacetylene welding, we can see them. Once the base metals are heated up, and it will be up above the 600 degrees centigrade, and please note down, the heating should not be more than the melting temperature of the base metal. Okay, and since the two surfaces are clean enough and the flux has been added here, what happens? The filler material which will be melted and which will be getting into the grooves or small voids or gaps by the capillary action, and once after that it is allowed to cool down and it will be solidified, and the joint become a stronger one. The joint will be a stronger joint. Okay, joint will be a stronger joint. Now let me discuss few things about the methods of brazing. The torch brazing, induction brazing, furnace brazing. In the cases of soldering also, torch soldering, like that, a few we have studied. But here, the underline which I have done, these are the very important commonly used brazing methods. These are commonly used brazing methods, and infrared brazing and vacuum brazing, resistance brazing, those will be very, very specific or special cases wherein some of the industries will be using these methods. Okay, and torch brazing method, that headline, the title itself will be showing you torch brazing method. A torch will be used to braze them together. Okay, just now some few of your friends have joined. The brazing is joining the two similar or dissimilar materials together by applying the heat from the torch. The temperature of this particular zone will be more than 450 degrees centigrade, and it will be lesser than the melting temperature of the base metals. Okay, and here the flux used will be a filter, and it may be alloys of aluminum or aluminum, copper alloys or copper, silver alloys or silver, based on the application for which it is meant for, that will be. Okay, and the flux used will be, filler material will be those, and flux used will be boric acid or borax or some other application. Some of the fluxes will be used. Okay, and in a torch brazing, a torch gun will be used. What is a torch gun? The oxygen and acetylene are made to flow through this, just like a small nozzle will be there, and it will continuously burn. At this tip, the temperature can be maintained. Okay, and this flame is made to fall onto the two surfaces wherein we are going to do the brazing, and the filler material will be added. Just now I have shown. You can see that the brazing, the filler material is a stick one here, and once after heating, the flame is heated up to 600 degrees centigrade approximately. What happens? The filler material will melt and it will be getting to the gaps of these two metals, and once after that it will be removed and it will be allowed to cool down, and due to this slow cooling, what happens? The liquefied zone will be converted to solid strongly. A strong joint will be formed. This is how the torch brazing. Induction brazing. So induction brazing, in this, due to the resistance to flow of current, okay, the resistance will be developed and it will be converted into heat, and this heat is more than enough to braze the metals together, and here filler material will be added, and again flux also will be added to clean. The furnace brazing method, here as the name indicates, the furnace, for the heating purpose a furnace will be used. In the second one, for the induction brazing, to increase the resistance, the current will be used. In the torch brazing, to add the heat, the torch, oxyacetylene torch will be used. In the furnace brazing method, what happens here? The two metals to be joined together are put into the furnace for certain time to heat. Once after that, a filler material is added onto this, and due to the capillary action, what happens? The filler material will be getting into the joints of these two metals, and once it is removed and kept over in normal atmospheric temperature, it will be solidified and the joint becomes stronger one. Okay, one has to remember before we get into the understanding the differences between the soldering and brazing. The soldering is lightweight application purpose. The brazing is slightly high weight application purpose as compared to the soldering. Okay, in soldering the temperature maintained will be below 450 degrees centigrade, and in brazing it will be above than that. Okay, the joint form in the soldering will be slightly weaker and joint form in the brazing will be slightly stronger. Okay, and before I get into the applications, I'll be showing you something here. You can see here the soldering, brazing and welding. The soldering is also using the heat application. The brazing also is using the heat applications, but for the heavy construction work this will be, okay, this will be